Hello everyone, it's the Historical Gamer once again, and today we're returning to Rule the Waves 2. This is episode number 23 in our Let's Play series of Rule the Waves 2 playing as Russia, and this is my second tenure as the head of Russia in a Succession series, which this episode is a part of. The Succession series is being run by XTRG, Tortuga, and Benjamin Magnus, and we each take 4-year terms in charge of the Russian Empire, and at the end of the 4 years, we hand the save off to the next player. This is, I think, the 4th or 5th episode in my second run-through. We won a war against Germany early on, and now we are at peace. We've just designed our first aircraft carrier. It's a light carrier. We've built 2 of them. We have also just laid down 2 brand new super battleships of the THG class, mammoth 40,000-ton fast battleships, 26 knots, 8 16-inch guns. Hopefully these things are the super battleships that can turn the tide in our favor in any upcoming conflict, but that remains to be seen. The world is currently at peace, tensions are currently low, and we are navigating through the year 1922, hoping to continue to lead Russia to greatness and glory. This was taken from a live stream from a couple of days ago, so I'm going to go ahead and pass this off to my live stream myself, and I'll catch you guys at the end. I'm hoping that tensions start going up as well, which might also help the budget, but more destroyers are being commissioned into the Navy. Our top spy is getting a hold of blueprints for a new British ship, a light cruiser currently under construction. Our scientists made unexpected advances in turrets and gun mountings, so we can now do dual-purpose mounting. Enables 3- and 4-inch guns and single dual-purpose mounts. Nice, and we have +1 4-inch quality. So I'm assuming, or guns, so I'm assuming we can turn some of those 4-inch guns into anti-aircraft as well? Maybe? I don't know. Is it? I'm assuming a dual-purpose gun shoots at enemy aircraft as well. Okay, so we're now into June of 1921, by the way. I'm just kind of waiting for some of this budget stuff to clear up. The heavy cruiser Rossiya is commissioned into the Navy. New fighter prototypes are ready for evaluation. So we've got 3 fighter prototypes. Let's see. Where does it tell me speed? Max speed 135. Cruise speed 72. Range 90. I think we'll do a happy medium of 130 speed with a 106 range. Maneuverability 10. Toughness is 5, though. I don't know if that's light or not. All right, so now if we take a look at aircraft types, and we just go to fighters, we can see here our new fighter design here. The AN-15 that I just selected is 130 speed. That is faster than any of the other foreign fighters in the world. It also has better range than any of the other fighters that we're aware of anyway. There's a lot of unknowns here, but considerably better in some respects than many of these other aircraft. So that's good to see. Okay. We're down to -7 million per turn, so the budget is creeping back into control. Meanwhile, this new heavy cruiser is going to move to Northeast Asia. And as it's moving to Northeast Asia, I'm surprised it's in the active fleet already. I would have assumed it was working up. We're also going to North Pacific. Where's the North Pacific? Oh, it's up that way. Do we even need to have ships in the North Pacific? I guess we do have a small requirement there. I'd like to scrap the Oleg, though. The Navy Experimental Establishment suggests that the heavy cruiser Oleg could be expended for gunnery practice and damage assessment. What do you say? Good idea. Yeah, I don't need the scrap money. Let's do that. The firing trials against the Oleg has advanced our knowledge about armor development. Interesting. Okay, so we just scrapped that ship. Meanwhile, we're going to scrap the Bogatar as well once the next of the Suryaski class become ready. So go ahead and move forward one more month. Our security arrangement with Japan has expired. There's been a rebellion in the French possession of Tonkin. What do you recommend? We should support the rebels to create trouble for France. We should not involve ourselves in this. Such unpleasantries can be contagious. We should help France to root out the rebels. Hell yeah, let's support the rebels. Our new torpedo bomber, the Lockvigin LA-13, is ready for operational service. The rebellion in Tonkin continues. And tensions go up with France a little bit. But that's okay, because then we get more money. All right, we're going to move forward a couple more turns. Counterintelligence believes that Germany's stolen technology and fire control from us. Diplomatic note in the strongest possible terms. I'll gladly go to war with Germany again. France has crushed the rebellion in Tonkin. Damn it. Okay. Unrest, by the way, is down to 0, so that's pretty sweet. The Grumby and the Suryaski are both commissioned into the Navy. One of our cruisers has run aground on the shore of a minor nation, promoting an illicit intelligence operation. They threaten to impound the ship. What's our reaction? Demand that they release the ship and send a strong squadron to underline the point. Offer sincere no. Definitely demand. So tensions jump up when we do that, but we get some prestige and we get some budget. Our monthly budget is now much closer to balance at negative 3.6 million. And then we have 2 more of the Suryaski class heavy cruisers ready. So we're going to go ahead and send one of these to Southeast Asia. Then we're going to go ahead and we're going to scrap the Bogatar. We'll take one last look. The Bogatar engaged in 7 battles, one of our most historic ships. A good design, 21 knots, 10,500 tons, 4 9-inch guns. A good design for its time, but simply not worth the cost any longer. So we scrapped the Bogatar. Meanwhile, we have a ship in Northeast Asia. Or wait, no. Where is it? Ship in Northern Europe. All right, so we've got 2 heavy cruisers on the way to Asia. They're taking a while to get there. And then we have the Suryaski, which is working up. Once it's done working up, we're also going to send it to the reserve fleet to save a little bit of money. Okay. So we're into October of 21. Medium-range submarines have been developed. Hell yes. Can we build some medium-range submarines? We're building 10 medium-range submarines. To that effect, I'm going to go ahead and scrap all of my existing submarines. I know anything I can do to put more budget into the fire. I'm 12 months away from completing the Varag, and then 14 months away from the light carriers. Okay. Meanwhile, we don't have enough tonnage on foreign stations. Southeast Asia needs another ship. I think I have one on the way there. Yeah, they're going to Southeast Asia. I guess we can send these guys to Southeast... Well, no, they need to be there. We'll send one of these guys to Southeast Asia, because they can get there in a turn. New docks are completed. Getting a British flying boat technology. Our new fighter, the AN-15, is ready for operational service. The aircraft is even faster than expected. All right, so that cruiser moved to Southeast Asia. I think in order to get our fleet into better status, I'm going to go ahead and put more of the fleet in reserve. We're going to try and get our budget under control here. God damn it. We're also going to scrap some of these charcoals because we just don't need them anymore. We commissioned a bunch of new destroyers. We'll go ahead and switch these guys over to reserve fleet, the new destroyers. Gets us into slightly better shape from a budgetary perspective. All right, so we're into December of 21, halfway through my tenure. Heavy cruiser Grumbolis finished her working up. We've developed superimposed X-mount on light cruisers. Sweet. So now we can have superimposed turrets on our light cruisers. None of the ships in the Russian Navy, by the way, right now are obsolete. The oldest ones are 8 years old. That's pretty damn modern. Got to give credit to Benjamin Magnus, who, well, other than the Imperator Magnus class, got to give credit to him. He did a great job in modernizing the fleet ahead of that last war. Okay. How did I get these guys to the reserve fleet? Apparently I found some bug where I could have these guys who are in Northeast Asia in the reserve fleet. A change of government in Austria-Hungary has the potential to reduce tensions between our nations. You are asked to comment by a major newspaper. Fair words, but the policies of Austria-Hungary have always, and always will be, a threat to world peace and stability. Britain has finally crushed the rebellion in Ireland. Increase those tensions. Give us that money. Lightened torpedoes. We're very close to mastering that. The company's developed an improved model of our torpedo bomber, the LA-13B. We haven't actually built any of them yet either. I'm waiting for the carriers before we actually build them. A new Austrian torpedo bomber, the Berg 16, is entering service. It is rumored to be faster than our fastest torpedo bomber. Why is it like a speed race for the torpedo bombers? The U.S. government's offering to sell us the rights to 7-inch guns of quality 0 for $2.7 million. Yes. Any free technology we can get, even though I don't really plan to build 7-inch guns. New German battleships under construction. It has 10 15-inch guns. Holy cow. Thank goodness we're building 16-inch gun ships, but they have 2 more guns than us. 25-inch guns? They'd bury you under a hail of secondary fire. Okay. You're due to hold a speech at the annual gathering of the Navy League. What will be the gist of your speech? The seas should be kept peaceful and prosperous for all nations. That'll lower prestige, budget, and tension. The freedom of the seas are threatened by the imperialistic ambitions of who? Germany. All right, our arch enemies. Heavy anti-aircraft machine guns have now been developed. All right, so we've almost balanced our budget now through increasing tensions. The U.S. is building a battle cruiser which is very similar to our own. 29 knots, 8 16-inch guns, 14 6-inch guns. This basically looks like one of ours, except their secondaries aren't in turrets. Our battleship has heavier armor and is a couple of knots slower, but overall this is very similar to our own ship. Our 8-inches are actually quality 0, so... All right, so September. A revolution in African countries left some of our national stranded. Send a strong squadron to bombard them. I don't want to double tensions. We'll join an international squadron. So we now are in the black, you guys. The budget is in the black. We'll move forward to the end of 1922. The Vairag is commissioned. 15-inch guns of quality 0 are developed. We're now considerably into the black. The last of our heavy cruisers is now ready for service. Working up. Huh. I just switched it immediately into the reserve fleet. The British government wants to sell us 8-inch guns of quality 1. Yes. That would actually allow us to overhaul the 8-inch guns that we have on the Sobieski class to be better. So actually, let's see here. These Northern Europe ships. What if we open this design for a rebuild? I hate the placement of that turret, by the way. It really irks me. So it'll take 6 months, and it'll be 346,000 per month. But we can get better turrets on them. What if we replace machinery? 10 months at 4 million? Why would I even do that? No, we're not going to do that. But we could do open design for rebuild and get the better guns. We could also add some light anti-aircraft guns. We don't have heavier or anything like that. We also don't have anti-aircraft directors. So we'll go with 8 light anti-aircraft guns. Although I don't know if that's worth the cost. Maybe we just do, because if we just do the guns, it's only 300,000 in 6 months. Adding the anti-aircraft guns makes it considerably more expensive and takes a lot more time. I'm wondering if aircraft aren't enough of a threat. Yes, we have quadruple turrets right here. The gun upgrade calculation is bugged, by the way. What do you mean? Most of the, I mean, it's only 6 months and 300,000. You're saying the dollar amount's wrong? I think this is the design, the redesign we'll do. Actually. Oh, so if I just, so it delays, okay. So I see what you're saying, is it didn't tell me, so when I just do the guns, it tells me, oh, it's 6 months and 300,000, but when I click the check mark to confirm, then it bumps up to 8 months, 1.3 million. Okay, I see what you're saying. Well, in that case, I think I'll still do it with the better guns. The anti-aircraft guns are cheap, so we'll do 8 of those. Doesn't really increase the cost at all. Increase elevation on the guns. 8 months at 1.3 million. I think that's worth it. So a 1922 rebuild of these ships. I mean, one of them was literally just commissioned. So we'll rebuild both of those. And interestingly enough, that still basically puts us at break even. So these 2 ships that are in Europe are going to rebuild. Can we rebuild the ships on foreign stations? I don't know if we can. I can. Interesting. Well, in that case, I'm going to rebuild 4 of these things. All 4 of our heavy cruisers will rebuild then. It'll take 8 months. Meanwhile, our light carriers are going to be ready in a month. And so we'll move forward here to 1923. The carriers are slower than anticipated. During a training exercises, an unidentified submarine has torpedoed and sunk our ship, the destroyer Lovoiki. There are unfortunately no clues to who might be behind the underhanded act. The Hawk Party is demanding resolute action. What do you recommend? Take this to the International Court in The Hague? Issue an order to sink any unidentified submarines close to our territorial waters? There's no doubt in my mind we should issue an ultimatum to... Who is it? Who should we issue an ultimatum to? I'd rather go to war with France. But does this automatically trigger a war? I don't want to go to war with Germany again. Oh no! It said tension 2. It didn't say war. I should have just gone to war with Germany. Well... All right. So our budget is balanced. Hey, that's okay. Well, we have two. So we have two. By the way, we have 2 fleet carriers that are coming online. We need to actually build aircraft for them, however. So we're working the ships up. We have aircraft. We haven't actually put the torpedo bombers or purchased them or anything like that. Do they just... Do I have to... I don't see... So I have to build an air group, I'm assuming, right? So we want to add an air unit, a fighter unit. And I think we want maybe... If we want 20 fighters. But I don't know how... How do I build the aircraft? That's what I want to know. Because I don't actually know what I'm doing. I don't actually have aircraft in reserve. So I'm assuming if I go to the aircraft type... Oh, they build themselves? Okay. So the air groups will build themselves. So we're going to build a fighter group of 24 for this aircraft carrier. We're going to build a torpedo bomber group of 14 for this aircraft carrier. We're going to do the same thing over here. So we're going to add a fighter group of 20 and a torpedo bomber group of 14. Actually, what we're going to do is we're going to reduce this. Change the number to 14, and we're going to add 4. We're going to add 6 scout planes on each of these. So we're going to have 14 fighters, 14 torpedo bombers, and then we're going to add... Well, I can't have float planes. Can my fighters double as scouts? Hoping my my aircraft can... Oh, my torpedo bombers get added as scouts. Okay. In that case, let's change the number to 16. Oops. Cancel. Change number. Why won't it let me change? Oh. This is just addition, I guess. So, no. That's weird. So we'll have 16 torpedo bombers and 14 fighters, since the torpedo bombers have to double as scouts. And so we've got 2 carriers with 30... Well, actually, no, we can fit more aircraft, can't we? That's only 30 out of 34. So we'll have 16 fighters... Actually, 18 fighters. This feels bugged. Why does it do that? Why won't it let me change the number? We'll just disband that. Let's add a new fighter unit of 18. Disband this guy. And a fighter unit of 18. Okay, so both these aircraft are building 34, 2 fighter groups of 18 and 2 torpedo bomber groups of 16. So that'll build out our air arm a little bit. Our aircraft type is a locally designed fighter plane. Good speed there. I don't know if it's actually like a biplane or what. It doesn't actually tell me, I don't think. And then our torpedo bomber. Which maybe would have been better buying a foreign torpedo bomber license. This French design. 120 speed? What about this design? Torpedo carrier. 1,000 pounds? Well, actually, this one's ours. Huh. Only allied nations will sell aircraft. Okay, never mind then. So much for that. All right, so we're in February of 1923. This is the final year of our gameplay, and I think we got about a 2 million monthly surplus. Looks like we're on the verge of war, though. So what happens if we activate our whole fleet? We can actually activate our whole fleet and only be slightly in the red. So we're going to activate our whole fleet, because a large number of them are poor and they need to train up. Because we're about to go to war. My subs also, I only have 10 of them. I probably need a few more. In terms of ships under construction, our heavy cruisers will be done in 8 and 6 months respectively. Although with France, if we go to war with France here, we might be better off not using unrestricted submarine warfare, because I don't want to draw on Austria-Hungary or Russia. We have 5 battleships. They have 5. They're only building 1. They do have 9 battle cruisers, which is an absurd amount. I'm curious what their battle cruisers look like. They have 13-inch guns. 13-inch guns. Okay. And they're not actually that fast. There's no way this only makes 18 knots as a battle cruiser. Well, this one makes 25 knots. That doesn't make any sense. So the enemy will have 14 capital ships to our 8. We're building 2 more. Are we the only ones with carriers in service? We have 2 carriers in service. They don't have anything. They're building 1 light carrier. Or no, that's a fleet. That's got to be a fleet carrier. It says 28,000 tons. Huh. But yeah, it's February of 23. We're probably about to go to war. Tensions are low. Spend a little bit more money building larger docks. No revolutionaries been sent yet. Not yet. Well, maybe we should just kind of keep going then. At least until the war starts. We commissioned 10 submarines. There's been an internal upheaval in Morocco. France is sending a force there to restore order. Issue an ultimatum. Now, this will start a war. An international force will also start a war. This is of no concern to us. France takes over Morocco. Meanwhile, we've developed efficient hull forms. So France takes Morocco. I don't really care. If I can get through to the end of the year, then we'll, without a war, it'll be a miracle. Torpedo protection level 2. That's good news. These crazy high tensions, by the way, also are helping to boost our naval budget. Austria-Hungary appears to be considering a naval rearmament program. The government asked for my advice on how to react. We should condemn the adventurous Austro-Hungarian policy and strengthen our own navy. Their ships are no threat to ours. We could always complain at the next disarmament conference. Hell yeah. 2 million more budget. I'm going to end up, whoever takes over is going to have like multiple wars that they're going to have to fight. Heavy cruisers finished reconstruction. One of our cruisers has run aground on the shore of a minor nation. Oh, well, this is going to trigger issue our sincerest apology, offer compensation, demand they release the ship, and send a strong squadron. So, I'll take the prestige hit. I'm trying to not go to war quite yet. I'm trying to get through to the end of 1923 without starting a war. The USA has stolen technology, torpedo technology. Increased tensions, increases budget, right? All right, so our heavy cruiser finishes its reconstruction. A sudden slump in the economy has led to widespread unemployment and poverty, as well as cutbacks in military spending. You're asked for your advice on how to handle this. Any further cuts in the Navy budget aren't acceptable considering the tense international situation. Maybe charities could institute some kind of relief for the poor. The government should consider social reforms to care for the unemployed. We'll cut the budget. I don't want to go to war quite yet. An improved model of their LA-13B torpedo bomber. Okay, we have a pretty strong surplus right now. I'm going to go ahead and build 10 more medium-range submarines. So we have 20 of the medium-range subs. Meanwhile, we only have 2 warships under construction. Our fleet is worked up and getting into good condition. We're up. Only a few of our ships are still in poor status. The German government delivers a sharply worded protest over our counterintelligence activities. Naval aviation heavier than air. Aircraft catapults are being developed. Nice. We can now build heavy fleet carriers. So German tensions have gone up. 1 more month. Well, that's going to be war, folks. Somehow, French tensions just exceeded the line. It is going to be war for whoever takes over. Meanwhile, nearly war with Austria and Germany as well. Well, we made it, I guess. At least to the end of our term. It is France. We should be fine. The other thing is we've got 2 major battleships that are ready in about a year that are racing toward completion. So if the war lasts a year, whoever takes over from us is going to end up having a pretty nice pair of battleships coming online. They've got 2 light carriers. I don't know, does anybody else have any light carriers in service? France has 1 and they're building a second. But we have an advantage in carrier aviation, I think, right now. Not on land-based aviation. I've done a really poor job investing there. We're way behind in total number of aircraft, although we're ahead in airships. It looks like the fleet is... Everything is at least fair right now, which is good. Our redesigned heavy cruisers are ready to ravage the French commerce. And that's the situation as my turn is wrapping up. So it is no longer my turn. It is time to hand it over. I don't actually know who's going next. So stay tuned to the playlist because that will have whoever's going next. They'll just follow along. I do think it'll probably be Tortuga, but I need to confirm with him. It's either Tortuga or XTRG. We're on the verge of war with France. We've built 2 light carriers. We're building 2 super battleships, and the budget is in reasonably good shape. And so I think we've left the incoming player in a better position from a financial perspective. The fleet is still relatively okay from a modernization perspective. We've got a lot of destroyers. We have a fair number of heavy cruisers. The capital ships are a little bit light. The aircraft are very light. The air bases are very light. and the light cruisers we probably need more of. But we'll have to figure that all out in the next episode from whoever takes over. So with that being said, I hope you've enjoyed my second playthrough in this Succession series, and it will be on to the next team member to see how to deal with France and to deal with this upcoming war. With that being said, this is the Historical Gamer saying, as always, thank you for watching, and until next time, I'm out.